I've been walking through the quiet where your footprints used to be. The walls still hold your laughter, but they never speak to me. I sit with all the memories like I'm hosting ghosts at dawn, trying to find the pieces of a love that's long been gone. I keep reaching for the moments that slip right through your hands. You taught me how a heart can break without a single play. Your absence doesn't miss me back. It never calls my name at night. It doesn't ache the way I do, or struggle with the fading light. Your silence isn't searching for what we used to be. Your absence keeps on living like it never once held me. I still trace the lines of yesterday on a heart that won't forget. The stories in your shadow are the ones I regret. Love shouldn't feel like waiting for something that won't return, but I keep lighting candles for a flame that never burns. You let our song fall quiet like it never had a tune, but I still hear the echo every night beneath the moon. Your absence doesn't miss me back. It never calls my name at night. It doesn't ache the way I do, or struggle with the fading light. Your silence isn't searching for what we used to be. Your absence keeps on living like it never once held me. Maybe love is just a lesson carved in places we can't see. Maybe losing you is learning what still remains in me. But even in the healing, there's a truth I can't ignore. You left without a backward glance, and I'm still standing at the door. Your absence doesn't miss me back, but I'll stop waiting for its call. I'll gather all the broken pieces and rise above the fall. Your silence isn't searching for the girl you used to know, so I'll breathe without your shadow and finally let you go. Some goodbyes don't echo, some memories don't stay, but I'll learn to grow in spaces where your absence fades away. I still set the table for two, even though it's only me and the quiet now. Your chair waits like it remembers you somehow. I walk around the things you didn't take, everything untouched for memory's sake. I breathe softly like I might hear you call, but the room just echoes nothing at all. I keep pretending someday you'll return, even when I know the truth still burns. I still keep the space you left, like a promise I never learned to forget. Your shadow lingers in every step, a ghost of love that hasn't left. Even when my heart knows best, I still keep the space you left. Your hoodie hangs where you last placed it, like time froze the moment you erased it. Your name still whispers in the air at night. I trace the memories like fragile lines, hoping they won't fade with time. But every sunrise proves me wrong again, and every sunset feels like losing you then. I try to fill the silence with something new, but nothing fits the shape of you. I still keep the space you left, like a promise I never learned to forget. Your shadow lingers in every step, a ghost of love that hasn't left. Even when my heart knows best, I still keep the space you left. Maybe healing means I have to move the chair. Maybe letting go means clearing all that's there. But every time I try, I fall apart instead, because love still sleeps in the place you led. I still keep the space you left, but I'm learning slowly how to breathe again. Even if the echoes still feel like regret, and the quiet wraps around all that's been. One day I'll stand where the pain has slept, but tonight I still keep the space you left. The room stays still, your absence stays loud, but I'll find my way out somehow. the sound of your breath. A quiet rhythm I thought would never end, but now the nights feel heavier instead. Like every shadow remembers what you said. Your absence settles softly on my skin, a gentle ache that keeps pulling me in. I stand in rooms where you once stood, trying to feel the echoes I understood. And every unspoken word you left behind still circles slowly in the corners of my mind. It's the way your silence held me, stronger than your arms ever could be, wrapped in all the things you didn't say, tangled in the quiet that made me stay. You let me drown without a sound, still I waited, hoping you'd come around. It's the way your silence held me long after you stopped needing me. I tried to read the truth between your sighs, searching for meaning in the fading of your eyes. You touched my hand like you were halfway gone, a lingering warmth that never lasted long. I learned your distance more than I learned your voice, a love that never gave me any choice. We spoke in heartbeats soft and slow, until the quiet grew too loud to hold. And I kept holding on to every fragile part, even when it kept breaking my heart. It's the way your silence held me, stronger than your arms ever could be, wrapped in all the things you didn't say, tangled in the quiet that made me stay. You let me drown without a sound, still I waited, hoping you'd come around. It's the way your silence held me long after you stopped needing me. Maybe your quiet wasn't meant for me. Maybe I tried too hard to set you free, but I still feel the weight of what you didn't speak, a tenderness that left me weak. It's the way your silence held me in the spaces where love used to be. Though I tried to listen through the ache, every whisper proved it was too late. You let me fall with no goodbye, just the softness of a fading sky. It's the way your silence held me, but it won't be the end of me. Your quiet fades, and finally so do I. Learned your mornings before the sun, your tired smiles when the day was done. I knew the weight you never showed, held every fear you wouldn't unload. I was the pause between your fights, the calm you leaned on every night. But somehow when the storm was through, you forgot everything I was to you. I gave you shelter, not a stage, but you left me standing in yesterday. I was everything I was to you, but you were only passing through. I bent my heart to fit your pain, while you walked free and stayed the same. I stayed when loving hurt the most. You let me fade like a silent ghost. I was everything I was to you, but you never were what I was to you. I memorized the cracks in your voice, heard every doubt, still made the choice to love you gently, love you deep, while you were learning how to leave. I carried us when you felt weak, put your needs ahead of me. But when it came time to choose the truth, you chose the road without me too. I held on longer than I should, believing more than I understood. I was everything I was to you, but you were only passing through. I bent my heart to fit your pain, well you walked free and stayed the same. I stayed when loving hurt the most. You let me fade like a silent ghost. I was everything I was to you, but you never were what I was to you. Maybe loving you was my mistake, maybe giving more was all it took to break. But I won't apologize for being true, for loving deeper than you knew. I was everything I was to you, every promise I held came true. I lost myself just to make you whole, paid the price with my own soul. Now I'm learning how to choose a heart that won't be used. I was everything I was to you, and now I'll be that for me too. You took my love and set it free, and now it's finally coming back to me. We built a world inside our plans, dreams folded neatly in our hands. Every someday felt close and real, like time would bend how we feel. I learned your fears, you learned my face. We thought love meant we had all the space, but nothing warned me I would lose half a lifetime when I lost you. I thought forever moved in lines. I never knew it could collapse in time. You fit a lifetime in one goodbye. One door closed and we wrote my life. All the years we never got, still echoing what we're not. You walked away and I stayed behind, carrying decades in a moment's time. You fit a lifetime in one goodbye, yeah. And it's still breaking me inside. Your absence rearranged my days. The quiet learned to say your name. Every choice I almost made still asks me why you couldn't stay. I count the hours we won't live through, all the we that turned into you. I didn't lose the love I lost, a future that we almost got. I hold the endings we never planned, like empty rings on my open head. You fit a lifetime in one goodbye. One door closing rewrote my life. All the years we never got, still echoing what we're not. You walked away and I stayed behind, carrying decades in a moment's time. You fit a lifetime in one goodbye, and it's still breaking me inside. Maybe love isn't meant to stay. Maybe timing steals more than fate. But no one tells you how it feels to grieve a life you'll never live. You fit a lifetime in one goodbye, but I won't let it end my life. I'm on the years we never grew, then learned to start again without you. You took your road, I'll find mine. I won't stay frozen in that time. You fit a lifetime in one goodbye, but I'm still here and I survive. I didn't lose my whole life tonight, just half of it, and I'll be You used to hear me in the noise, now I'm back around to your voice. I watched your eyes stop asking why, like I faded while standing by. You stopped reaching in the dark, Long before we fell apart, I was still holding us so tight, while you were already gone inside. You didn't leave all at once, you left in pieces every month. You forgot me before you let go, before the goodbye, before the no. I was loving you out loud, while you learned how to live without. You didn't slam the door, you just closed your eyes, left me here wondering when love died. You forgot me before you let go, and that hurts more than you'll ever know. I noticed you stopped saying my name, like it carried too much weight. Your silence learned to answer me with empty words and sympathy. You smiled through our final days, like I was something you misplaced. I kept fighting for what was real, you were practicing how not to feel. You held my hand but not my heart, you were already halfway apart. You forgot me before you let go, before the goodbye, before the no. I was loving you out loud, while you learned how to live without. You didn't slam the door, you just closed your eyes, left me here wondering when love died. You forgot me before you let go, and that hurts more than you'll ever know. Maybe leaving is kinder than staying numb, but I wish you had told me when you were done. I was still building something true, while you were already saying goodbye. You forgot me before you let go, but I won't forget the strength I grew. I love with everything I had, even when you were already past. You didn't be so cold, but I felt it in the way you spoke. You forgot me before you let go, now I'm learning how to let you go. I deserve to be remembered, at least until the end. You used to say my name like a prayer, like it was something you'd always care. Every syllable felt safe in your hands, like I belonged where you'd stand. Now my name falls from your mouth like a word you don't say out loud. I hear it echoing yesterday, where your love used to stay. You touched my life without a sound, then let it slip and never turned around. Those hands that used to hold my name now don't even reach my way. You learned how to let me fade, like I was easy to erase. I stayed when your touch grew cold, still believing stop remembering me. Like forgetting was a kind of mercy. Your silence dressed itself as peace, while I broke quiet underneath. I traced the lines where love once lived, on promises you didn't keep. You didn't mean to change so much, but you forgot the weight of touch. You kept my heart, but not my truth. I was still choosing us, not you. Those hands that used to hold my name now don't even reach my way. You learned how to let me fade like I was easy to erase. I stayed when your touch grew cold, still believing in what we told. Those hands that used to hold my name are the reason I still hate. Maybe love isn't meant to last, maybe memories move too fast, but I deserve a gentler end than being forgotten by your hand. Those hands that used to hold my name taught me how to stand in the rain. I won't beg to be remembered now. I'll say my name out loud somehow. You let go before I knew, but I rebuild what wasn't true. Those hands that used to hold my name no longer get to hold my pain. I carry my name with my own hands now. We met when the sky was undecided, halfway between the sun and rain. You were a chapter I wasn't ready, but somehow I read every page. We laughed like time was generous, like it would wait for us to grow. But love doesn't ask for readiness, it only asks to show. I felt it bloom before its time, a flower fighting the wrong climate. We loved out of season when hearts were in sync. You gave me reasons, but never enough to keep. We tried to make summer stay in the middle of falling days. We loved out of season and paid for it in the end. You needed space, I needed roots. We stood on different sides of truth. I wanted now, you wanted someday, but someday never chose to stay. I watched you drift with changing light, while I was holding on to spring. We weren't wrong, just misaligned, wanting different things. I still wonder who we'd be if time had learned to wait for me. We loved out of season when hearts weren't in sync. You gave me reasons, but never enough to keep. We tried to make summer stay in the middle of falling days. We loved out of season and paid for it in the end. Maybe love needs the right weather, not just two hearts holding on. Maybe timing is what measures if a fire stays or it's gone. We moved out of season, but I don't regret the pain. Some loves are only meant to teach us what we're not meant to claim. I'll carry the warmth you gave, even as the leaves all change. We loved out of season, and I still feel it when it rains. Not every love is meant to last. Some just pass through like seasons do. The morning came, the sunlight burned, but your shadow never returned. I whispered hopes into the air, hoping you'd hear them anywhere. Coffee cooled on the edge of the sink. I caught your scent, then let it sink. The day moved on, but I remained, waiting for a love that never stayed. Every step I took without your hand, I felt like walking on unsteady sand. You didn't stay for my tomorrow, left me with memories and borrowed sorrow. Every dream I built for two fell apart when I still loved you. The stars rose high while you were gone, and I faced the night all alone. You didn't stay for my tomorrow, but I'll find light beyond the sorrow. I wore your jacket just to breathe, the warmth that gave a fleeting reprieve. Your laugh still lingers in my mind, a melody I can't rewind. I trace the moments that slipped away, held on to words I couldn't say. But even love that's left behind can teach your heart how to unwind. I learned to hold the pieces you missed, to stand alone. Every clock ticks like it's wrong. I hear your name in passing cars and have forgotten radio songs. Your absence hums beneath my skin, a low note I can't tune out. It's everywhere I've ever been, but never where I am now. Silence isn't empty here, it's filled with everything we were. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the echo after love breaks down. A quiet scream I never made, a record skipping on your name. It wouldn't fade, it wouldn't drown, it'd follow me through every town. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the loudest one I found. Your ghost still walks through midnight talks I never meant to keep. I sleep with words I never said, still burning underneath. I turn the volume of my life down just to feel you near, but every song I try to play brings back the way you disappeared. I trade the noise of being strong just to hear where we went wrong. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the echo after love breaks down. A quiet scream I never make, a record skipping on your name. It wouldn't fade, it wouldn't drown, it'd follow me through every town. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the loudest one I've found. Maybe one day I'll learn the tune of living life without you, but right now every beat I hear still thinks that you're supposed to be here. If missing you had a sound, I'd finally let it out. I'd let it shake, I'd let it cry, till the silence learns goodbye. It won't define me, but right now it's teaching me how to feel it out. If missing you had a sound, I'd turn it down, but not yet now, until the quiet learns my name. I'll listen to the love that remains. I talked to you in paragraphs, you answered me in signs. I kept 1,000 feelings, you kept crossing lines. I watched your eyes grow distant, still called it just a phase. I stayed and stitched the silence, you slowly walked away. I thought love meant waiting, what my heart spilled when yours went quiet on me. I read between your pauses like they were written truths. I blame myself for questions you never wanted to choose. Every unfunny whispered was a door you closed. I was holding all the weight of a love you let go. You didn't break me loudly, you faded soft and slow. I lost you in the quiet before I even knew. This is what my heart spilled when yours went quiet on me. I cried in full colors, you lived in grayscale dreams. I reached for your shadow, you slipped out of reach. This is what my heart spilled when yours went quiet on me. Maybe some hearts love deeper, maybe some hearts hide, but silence is still leaving, even if no one cries. I won't beg for echoes from a voice that chose to fade. I'm done pouring my soul into love that won't stay. This is what my heart spilled, but I'm cleaning it up now. I won't apologize for loving too loud. If your quiet was freedom, and my pain was the cost, but I found my voice again in everything I lost. Next time my heart speaks, it won't speak alone. The room still holds your shadow, like it never learned to fade. Your coffee cup remembers every morning that we played. The city sleeps without you, but I stay wide awake, counting all the moments I forgot to say. They say time is a healer, but it skips a few scars. Every night I look upward, and there you are. The moon still knows your name, whispers it through silver light, while I pretend I'm stronger than these lonely nights. The world keeps moving on, but I stay the same. The moon still knows your name. Your laugh lives in the hallway of a house I don't go back. I packed up all the memories, still left a piece unpacked. I've learned how not to miss you in the daylight's frame, but the dark keeps asking why I'm still the one in pain. I don't cry like I used to, I don't call anymore, but my heart still listens for footsteps at the door. The moon still knows your name, writes it softly in the sky. Every star's a reminder of a past goodbye. I tell myself I'm fine, but the truth remains. The moon still knows your name. Maybe love doesn't vanish, maybe it just hides in the quiet between heartbeats, in the pull of the tide. If you ever look upward when the night feels strange, know there's something above us that still says your name. The moon still knows your name, but I'm learning mine again. I won't erase the story, just won't live it in my head. If loving you was a season, I survived the rain. The moon still knows your name, but I don't need the pain. Tonight I let the moon remember, so I don't have to. It was past midnight, phone face down. Your name stayed quiet, no familiar sound. I typed your words, erased them twice, like love was thinking, taking time. The room was full of borrowed air. Your side of the bed still warm somehow. That was the night I realized love was gone, but I was still around. I kept reaching for something true, but every silence sounded like you. It was the night love stopped answering our goodbye. No warning sign, I kept calling out your heart, but it was already offline. I stayed awake, believing you, while love just let me through. Yeah, it was the night love stopped answering, and I stayed with the truth. Your jacket hanging by the door, like you'd be back, like before. I replayed moments in my head, looking for the words you never said. You said nothing was wrong at all, but your eyes had learned to leave. I was loving at full volume. You were already on mute with me. You didn't mean to disappear, but love doesn't always stay sincere. It was the night love stopped answering. I heard the echo, not your voice. I begged the past to hold us still, like pain was ever a choice. I kept my heart unlocked for you, but love already moved. Yeah, it was the night love stopped answering, and I finally knew. Now I don't wait for messages that never come. I learned some hearts go silent before they're gone. It was the night love stopped answering, but I survived the sound of none. I stopped calling what we had, something it never become. You taught me how to lose someone without a fight or truth. It was the night love stopped answering, and I answered me too. I still remember the ringing, but I don't wait anymore. I memorized the sound of maybe, held on to words you never gave me. I stayed polite with all your doubt, called it patience, not burning out. I learned your silence by heart, treated distance like a start. I kept the door unlocked for hope, while you kept finding reasons not to cope. I kept believing time was kind, but it was only passing by. I waited longer than life should, stayed when leaving would have been good. I called it faith, I called it trust, but I was breaking quietly inside us. You didn't ask me to remain, I just mistook delay for pain. I waited longer than life should, and paid the price for being good. I smiled through every half reply, made excuses so you wouldn't try. I lowered needs, I raised my grace, shrank my voice to keep your place. Love became a careful thing, afraid of asking for anything. I was there in every way, but you were only almost staying. I thought endurance meant I cared, but love shouldn't need to be spared. I waited longer than life should. between hope and delay, between choosing someone and being played. I crossed it thinking I was strong, but strength knows when it's been too long. I waited longer than love should, but I'm done waiting misunderstood. I won't confuse restraint with care, or call absence being there. If love returns, it won't ask me to bleed. It won't survive on what it needs. I waited longer than love should. Now I leave exactly when I should. Some lessons take their time, but freedom doesn't ask for mine. You stopped asking how my day had been, just nodded like you already knew. Our words got smaller, thinner, like love was scared of waking you. I learned the sound of empty space between your sighs and tired eyes. We were still sharing the same bed, but dreaming separate lives. You said nothing was wrong, but silence stayed too long. When love and you became quiet, I felt the distance in your touch. No fights, no tears to cry with, just less and less of us. You didn't leave, you just went still, like love forgot how to speak. When love and you became quiet, it started breaking me. I laughed louder to fill the room, hoped you'd notice something changed. I kept translating all your moves into reasons you might stay. You folded up your eyes, looked down like I was interrupting peace. I was standing right beside you, but somehow begging to be seen. I miss the way you used to care. quiet. It taught me how to grieve. Maybe love shouldn't whisper just to survive, or fade so gently we call it time. If silence is all that love can be, then I'd rather hear myself breathe. When love and you became quiet, I finally heard my own pain. I stopped begging for your presence in a room where I was unseen. You didn't mean to hurt me, but you didn't choose to stay. When love and you became quiet, found my voice and walked away. Some love ends loud, ours disappeared. The room was full of echoes from words we didn't say. I was counting every heartbeat. You were already away. Your eyes stopped listening, your hands let go of mine. I felt the ending coming, but pretended we had time. You left before the song ended, before the last refrain. I was still learning the melody. You were done with the pain. You didn't say you were leaving, you just stopped pretending. I kept singing for us. You left before the song ended. Your laugh became a memory, too soft to call back home. I replayed every moment, like it might change the tone. I loved you in the quiet parts, between the lines you missed. You heard an exit sign, I heard one final kiss. You left before the song ended, before it could resolve. I was still holding the harmony. the song ended, but I sang it to the end. I stayed with every lyric, even when you didn't understand. Now the music feels different, but my heart's still open. I didn't lose my voice. We just left before the song ended. Some songs don't fade out, they stop midline, and you learn to breathe in the silence they leave behind. We sat across the kitchen light like strangers sharing space. You stirred your coffee slowly, wouldn't look me in the face. I felt the distance settle in between what was and what became. We were still saying goodnight, but it didn't sound the same. I held the word forever, like it still meant something true. You were already folding out of everything we knew. That was the last time I called it us, before the silence won, before your hand stopped reaching, before the damage done. I said we'll be fine tomorrow. You didn't disagree. That was the last time I called it us, and you stopped choosing me. Your jacket stayed by the hallway door, like maybe you'd return. I memorized your quiet steps and every look you wouldn't turn. We weren't fighting anymore, we just stopped trying to win. Love didn't leave in anger, it just thinned and thinned. I kept speaking in plural while you were thinking alone. I was building a future, you were letting it go. That was the last time I called it us, before the air went cold, before I saw the truth in the things you never told. You didn't slam the door, you didn't raise your voice. That was the last time I called it us, before you made your choice. Some endings don't explode, they gently rearrange. You wake up one day and we just feel strange. That was the last time I called it us, but not the last time I cared. I stayed until the feeling was too quiet to repair. Now I speak in I and me, and it finally feels honest. That was the last time I called it us, the I still remember the way you laughed under streetlights, our shadows cast, moments that felt like forever. Now they're gone, like they never mattered. I kept chasing what could never stay, held on to whispers that faded away. We were almost something real, a fire that burned too fast to feel. Every word, every stolen glance, a beautiful but fleeting I see your face in every crowded street, a ghost of us in every heartbeat. I tried to fix what wasn't mine, but some love fades with time. I held on to dreams that slipped like sand, reaching for touch I can't command. We were almost something real, a fire that burned too fast to feel. Every word, every stolen glance, a beautiful but fleeting chance. Maybe in another life, another day, we'd have found a way to stay. But here and now, I let you go, carry almost in my soul. We were almost something real, a fire that burned too fast to feel. Every word, every stolen glance, a beautiful but fleeting chance. We were almost something real, and I'll keep the memory and heal. And I'll keep the memory and heal. We were almost something real. I used to feel your heartbeat next to mine. Now silence fills the space we left behind. Whispers of laughter echo in the room, but shadows grow as love meets its gloom. I reached for you, but you slipped away. a gentle warmth that couldn't stay. The kind of love that slowly fades, leaves quiet nights and empty days. Every smile, every touch we knew fades like morning mist in the blue. I see your face in the crowd sometimes, a fleeting glance, a hint of old rhymes. I try to hold on, but the colors dim, our melody lost in a fading hymn. I whispered prayers that love could remain, but echoes return only your name. The kind of love that slowly fades, leaves quiet nights and empty days. Every smile, every touch we knew fades like a morning mist in the blue. Baby, hearts are meant to drift apart, that you'll always linger in my heart. I let the tears fall, I let it go, learning to love even in the woe. The kind of love that slowly fades, leaves quiet nights and empty days. Every smile, every touch we knew fades like a morning mist in the blue. The kind of love that slowly fades. I'll hold the memory and face new ways. I'll hold the memory and face new ways. The kind of love that slowly fades. I didn't know the shape of quiet until your voice was gone. I used to fill my days with you, nowadays just carry on. Your coffee cup still by the sink, like you're running late. But I stopped waiting at the door when hope learned how to break. You never meant to leave me cold, but love taught lessons it never told. I learned loneliness from you, from the way you slowly slipped away from all the things we didn't do, and every word you didn't say. I wasn't born this good at being alone, I had to learn it from you. Yeah, I learned loneliness from you. tried to hold what wasn't there, like air between my hands. You left me with your absence. That's when I started to understand. Love doesn't always end with tears. Sometimes it leaves you here. I learned loneliness from you, from empty rooms and quiet nights, from loving someone halfway who never stayed to fight. I wasn't strong before you gone, but I became someone new. Yeah, I learned loneliness from you. Now I sit with silence like it knows my name. I don't blame you for the pain, but I changed. I learned loneliness from you, but I also learned to stand. I learned how to lose someone and still hold my own hand. You were my hardest lesson and my deepest truth. I didn't choose this kind of love. I learned loneliness from you. I don't miss who you became. I miss who I was with you. The house still knows the way you stood by the window light, misunderstood. I trace the space you used to fill, like time forgot to stand still. Your laughter faded into walls, still echoes when the evening falls. We weren't broken, just undone, like sentences that lost their tongue. I didn't lose you all at once. You slowly changed the distance. This is the shape of us after goodbye. Corners of love we couldn't realign. Your absence learned my outline too. Now I'm someone I became without you. We don't hurt the way we did before, but we don't fit like we used to anymore. This is the shape of us after goodbye. Not broken, just redesigned. Your name still rests in quiet days, in songs I skip, in words I say. I don't reach out, but still I feel the habit of us. You'll still be real that changed but didn't last. Some endings don't feel like the end, they just stop choosing we again. I forgive us for growing wrong, for staying quiet far too long. This is the shape of us after goodbye, a gentler truth I won't deny. You were a chapter, not my home, but you helped define my soul. I won't wish we stayed the same. Some love survives by letting change. This is the shape of us after goodbye. Still beautiful, just a different life. Didn't vanish, we evolved into who we are when love dissolves. You left without slamming doors, no final words, no reason why. Your jacket still by the bedroom floor, like you'd be back before goodbye. I memorized the way you left, by how the room forgot your sound. Even the clock held its own breath when it realized you weren't around. I told myself you just needed time, but time never promised you were mine. I kept the light you turned off, stayed awake in case you came home lost. I learned the dark by heart, so you wouldn't have to find the switch. You moved on without a thought, left me loving what you forgot. I kept the light you turned off, like love was something I could fix. Your name still echoes in my phone, unread messages, unsent truth. I made excuses on my own for all the things you didn't do. I dressed the silence up as hope, called waiting something brave. But every night I held a glow for a shadow that never stayed. I stayed loyal to what we were. You stayed silent, and that hurt worse. I kept the light you turned off, believed in you when you walked off. I made a home inside the dark, so you wouldn't feel alone. You found peace somewhere else, while I held the night by myself. I kept the light you turned off, until even hope to stay or bleed just to be seen. Maybe letting go is learning that choosing me isn't selfish, it's clean. I kept the light you turned off, but I won't wait here anymore. I see now what it cost to love someone who closed the door. If you ever wonder why the room no longer knows your name, I turned the light off for myself and finally walked away. The dark doesn't scare me now. I'm not waiting anymore. I stayed when leaving made more sense. Watch the clock ignore my prayers. Your silence learned my name before I learned how not to care. Every promise lost its tone, every kiss felt slightly gone. I smiled just to keep you near, while disappearing year by year. I let go in slow motion, frame by frame I fell apart. Still loving you out of habit, still breaking my own heart. I didn't leave, I faded, and I words you never quote. I let go in slow motion long before you noticed. Your jacket still behind the door, like you might need it once more. I stopped asking where you'd been, started guessing how this ends. I learned to miss you quietly, so you wouldn't feel the change. You were already halfway gone. I just stayed to take the blame. I let go in slow motion, held on longer than I should, still hoping you'd turn around, even when I knew you wouldn't. I didn't scream, I softened till love felt like a ghost. I let go in slow motion and carried it alone. If love is meant to save us, why didn't it cost me? I begged for something honest, you gave me almost free. I let go in slow motion, now I see myself again. try till the end. I don't hate you, I outgrew the way that you imposed. I let go in slow motion, and that's how I survived you. Some endings don't explode, they gently loosen their hold. And one day you breathe without them and call it closure. I stayed when the signs were clear, read between what you wouldn't say. You were halfway out the door, I was finding reasons you might stay. Every warning felt like doubt, every doubt I turned to hope. I held the pieces of your heart like they were mine to hold. You were slowly letting go. I was loving you more. I loved you past the point of return, past the lesson I should have learned. I crossed every line I swore I wouldn't, just to keep us from the burn. You stepped back without a word, I stayed until it hurt. I loved you past the point of return and lost myself first. I memorized your fading touch like it might come back again. You called it space, I called it trust, but we were standing at the end. Your silence felt rehearsed, mine was breaking underneath. You stopped choosing what we were, I stopped choosing me. I thought love meant staying strong, even when it stayed too long. I loved you past the point of return, past the truth I couldn't face. I kept rebuilding what was gone while you were leaving trace by trace. You never asked me to remain, I just refused to turn. I loved you past the point of return, and that's what made it burn. Maybe love is brave, but not when it erases you. Maybe holding on isn't always proof. I loved you past the point of return, but I won't love that way again. Not where I disappear just to make somebody stay. You were a chapter, not my end, a fire I survived. I loved you past the point of return. Now I'm finally on my side. Some loves don't come back, they teach you where to start. still held your laughter like a picture on the wall. But lately every promise felt smaller than before. You stopped asking how I was, stopped reaching for my hand, and I kept filling silence with reasons I'd pretend. I thought love meant patience through every changing tide, so I stayed a little longer, even when you stepped aside. I stayed after you stopped trying, after hope began to fade, after every quiet moment showed the distance that you made. I kept holding up the fire while you watched it slowly die. Stayed after you stopped trying, long before I said goodbye. I memorized your absence like a shadow in a room. Every maybe that you whispered turned tomorrow into gloom. You called it growing distant, I called it losing you. But loving someone lonely was all I knew to do. I believed in forever more than what I could see, but forever doesn't happen when it's only carried by me. I stayed after you stopped trying, after effort disappeared, after every empty promise became something I feared. I kept writing us a future, you erased it line by line. I stayed after you stopped trying and told myself we'd be fine. Love shouldn't feel like standing all alone, building a home for someone already gone. I stayed after you stopped trying, but I won't stay anymore. I deserve a love that reaches, not a half-closed door. Now I'm walking through the silence with a stronger kind of grace. I stayed after you stopped trying, but I finally left that place. Sometimes leaving is the bravest thing you do. When you realize love stopped fighting for you. I watched your eyes drift to someone new, while I held the pieces that belonged to you. Every promise that we once believed faded away, leaving me deceived. I tried to keep a fire that you let die, whispered my love into the silent sky. Set free, I carried our dreams through endless nights, even when they faded out of sight. I held on to what you let go.